Have you ever been sitting in a room full of people and felt it starting to happen? That burst of heat that starts in your core and radiates outwards? I've been there in a small room with one of my clients, her husband, her children, and a newborn baby, and there was nowhere to move, and I could feel it coming on. And the anxiety that I would get when I could feel one coming on. But there wasn't just that, there was the self consciousness of being exposed and vulnerable and just wanting to hide what was happening in my own body when it's really hard to hide one during a hot flash, right? And so many of us have had moments like that. And yet we're being told to just push through. It gets better eventually. To sleep with the window open or freeze your sheets or put your pillowcases in the freezer. It's just part of being a woman. Deal with it. And yet, hot flashes keep happening, and we keep feeling that anxiety, the embarrassment, and the vulnerability. But what if it doesn't have to be this way? What if some of the things you're doing every day are actually making your symptoms worse without you knowing about it? Hi, I'm Kim, your menopause rebel dietitian, helping you do menopause your way so you start feeling like yourself again and doing it with a rebel spirit. Today, let's talk about what's really going on during a hot flash, what makes them worse, and what you can begin to do today to start feeling more like yourself again. Let's start with what's actually happening in your body. So during perimenopause, estrogen is not just declining, it's fluctuating. And when most of us think about estrogen, we think of period, cramps, sex hormones, right? All of that. But estrogen does so much more in our body than we ever know. One of its jobs is to help regulate your hypothalamus, and your hypothalamus is basically your body's thermostat. And when estrogen starts shifting, that thermostat gets a little more sensitive. Suddenly, things that never used to bother you, like a warm room, a cup of coffee, or your cup of tea, a stressful moment, now feel like a bigger deal to your body than they should. So, how does your body react? Your blood vessels start to dilate, your heart rate kicks up, and then you start sweating to cool yourself down. And that is a hot flash. But some of those days, those hot flashes are worse than the ones you had the day before, or even the one you just had before that. A few things that could be making them a little bit worse. So, one of them is anything that will raise your body temperature. So, the warm room, hot weather, heavy clothing, spicy foods, alcohol, and your hot drinks. Those can make that hot flash just a little more intense. The second is anything that kind of revs up your system. Caffeine, stress, anxiety, poor sleep. When your body is already a little on edge, that thermostat reacts a lot faster. And then the third thing is when your body is just a little bit out of balance, like the blood sugar swings that we experience often during perimenopause, skipping meals, not drinking enough water, or getting enough movement. It doesn't take much to tip things over. Most days, it's not just one of these, it's a couple of them stacking on top of each other. Your hot cup of coffee, caffeine, and no sleep the night before. It all adds up. All right, so what are we going to do now to help with that? In the moment, do some deep, slow belly breathing. This is going to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and relax, not your fight and flight nervous system, and it can shorten the duration of a hot flash. Run some cold water on your wrist or put a little on the back of your neck, a cool cloth on those different pulse points. Carry a portable fan. You get those little tiny fans, and I see them all over the place, women carrying those, quick and easy. Then there's peppermint essential oils. The menthol in there has that cooling sensation, so you can put a little on your wrist, on your neck, on your chest. And that can also help with that anxiety spike that you experience during the hot flash. Step outside or near a window with fresh, cool air coming in if it's the right time of year for you to be able to do that. Drink some cold water. Have a Cup of cold water, ice water with you. I know I always have a glass of water all the time at home. So those are in the moment things, but let's do some of those environmentally, things you can do environmentally to help yourself. Clothing, get some moisture wicking clothing or pajamas that are going to help wick that sweat away from you. Layer so you can quickly get rid of those layers when need be. Keep a small fan on your desk, in your beside your bed, something that you can do the when you need it there. Cooling pillows and pillow covers and cooling sheets or bed things out there. Keeping your bedroom cool between 65 and 68 is a good temperature. And bamboo and linen sheets, they breathe a little bit better. Now let's try some lifestyle changes here. So, stress reduction. Cortisol is a direct trigger, one of your fight or flight hormones. So, reducing stress is going to help calm your nervous system. So, that's going to help with the intensity. Getting regular movement, doing walking, swimming, anything low intensity. The higher intensity exercises is going to ramp up your cortisol, going to affect the hot flashes worse. Diaphragmatic breathing. We talked about that belly breathing earlier. But even not just in the moment, but doing it regularly a couple times a day. That's a great way to get yourself out of that stress mode and into that rest and relax. And the more you get there, the more it's going to help build your nervous system resilience over time. Limiting alcohol, caffeine, and spicy foods and limiting how much you eat, especially larger meals close to bedtime, that just affects your sugar, your blood sugar regulation. So, trying to limit those meals near bedtime. And then there are supplements and natural supports that can be helpful for some women. They're not always magical fixes, but they're tools that you can use to support your body. First of all, magnesium glycinate. It's helpful for calming your nervous system, and that'll help support better sleep. And that matters because when you're getting enough sleep, you're well rested, you deal with stress better. So then that's going to help manage your hot flashes better. Black cohosh is one out there. It's an herb that you've probably heard of. Some women do notice a difference in frequency or intensity, others don't. So it can be a hit or miss one. There are some limited studies on that. There's others that you're going to hear about too, like red clover, licorice root, dong quai, chasteberry, evening primrose oil. And those are dependent on the person. Some people swear by them, they work for them. Some don't get that experience, just like the black cohosh, and there is more limited research on them. And always, if you're going to use herbs, please check in with your doctor because some of these herbs can affect how medications work for you. They can affect your blood pressure or other health issues. So make sure you're talking with your doctor who is aware of it and can help make sure that they're not going to affect you. And ashwagandha. And ashwagandha is an adaptogen and it helps your body handle stress a little better and it will help support your sleep. So then your system isn't on edge and so it's not going to react as strongly. And then my favorite is essential oils. There's many ways to do that, but like we talked about earlier, doing some peppermint, but there's also clary sage and geranium are all great uses for hot flashes, perimenopause. You can mix them up with a little witch hazel. Keep a little 2 ounce bottle on hand or a 4 ounce bottle. The 2 ounce bottle you can stick in your purse and carry with you. You can make a little roller ball and you just put them on your pulse points or spray them like on the back of your neck, your décolletage. This you can roll around on pulse points and get that cooling menthol sensation going on there. And when you are using essential oils, you want to look for good quality oils. So, not something that you're just going to pick up in the grocery store because some of those are synthetic or they're highly diluted. So, they're not going to be effective for you. And if they're synthetic, they can cause other problems for you. What you want to look for is something that's going to be pure, It's third party tested, and you can actually verify that it's a third party testing and that what's in the bottle is what's in the bottle. And you're usually going to see peppermint here. It has the little botanical name on there right there. So you can always find that. So you know that is a real plant source. So, knowing all this stuff is one thing, and actually putting it together in a way that works for your body is another matter, right? So, if you're done struggling your way through perimenopause and you're ready for some real support, I'm here to work with you too. And I take a more holistic approach. So, looking at the whole picture, your mind, your body, and everything in between. And we work on finding what works for you, not what that one size fits all thing. I'll leave a link in the description. You can schedule a time and we can sit down and talk about what's going on and how we can support you. Now you know what's actually happening during a hot flash, what makes them worse, and what you can do to relieve the frequency and the intensity. And most importantly, hot flashes aren't something you simply have to power through. You have more influence over them than you may have been told.